Hey YouTube, it's Miss Dana coming to you guys with another video. And in this video, I am showing you guys how I make my homemade Southern cornbread dressing. Yes, cornbread dressing. So, I know a lot of you guys probably do the stovetop, or you might even do the breadcrumbs. However, this is my mother's famous Southern cornbread dressing. And I have to say that slow. Famous Southern cornbread dressing. So, in this recipe, everything is made from scratch. I am going to show you in detail how I make my mother's cornbread dressing. And my mom gave me this recipe about 20 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since for the holidays. So Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, it is a routine. It is just a homestead for our family that I make the homemade cornbread dressing. So there are a couple things that I've tweaked in the recipe since my mom gave it to me. One of them being garlic powder instead of garlic salt. So my mom would add garlic salt to the recipe, and I changed that up to just add garlic powder. And then the second thing I changed was, what was it? Garlic powder. I don't remember. I don't remember. It's been so long. So anyway, you make your cornbread from scratch. Please do not use the Jiffy cornbread mix. Do not use store purchased cornbread. And the reason I say that is because those tend to be on the sweeter side, and you do not want your dressing to be sweet. Don't do that. Make sure you make your cornbread from scratch, and try your best to reduce the sugar amount in your cornbread when you're making it. So if your cornbread calls for a half a cup of sugar, I do a tablespoon of sugar, literally 1 tablespoon of sugar, because if you're making 3 or 4 batches of cornbread, if you keep adding sugar, just imagine you're going to have sugar in all 3 batches of cornbread, and that's going to be in your dressing mix. So you just want to reduce your sugar by like 75%, and just go with me on this. I'm telling you, 75% reduction in your sugar. So that's one thing. Again, make sure you're making your cornbread from scratch. Make sure that you're using the old school yellow cornbread cornmeal. Don't use any other cornbread mixes, or don't do that. Stick with the yellow cornmeal. I'm trying to think I'm literally like going through my head on the recipe while I'm talking, because again, this video is going to be very in detail. It's pretty long, but it's going to be very in detail. Making cornbread from scratch is very detailed. I made 3 skillets. In a cast iron skillet, I made 3 skillets of cornbread in order to achieve this recipe. Of course, if you're only making 1 pan of dressing, you're going to reduce that. But for me, I made 3 kind of medium-sized pans, because I made 1 for my home, 1 from a girlfriend's home, and 1 for my niece's home. So that's why you see me making 3 pans of cornbread. 3 pans of dressing. And then also, as you can see, I keep looking up because I'm trying to think of a lot of things before I go through with the recipe. So make your cornbread from scratch. Reduce your sugar amount in your cornbread mix. using the turkey necks and chicken gizzards. That's what it was. Okay, so my mom usually would put chicken hearts in her mix as well. Um, I just couldn't come to doing chicken hearts. And so I just used the turkey necks and the chicken gizzards. Now, it doesn't give it the taste, it doesn't give it any different taste. It's still the same taste, but I just couldn't do the chicken hearts. So the chicken gizzards and the turkey necks, you want to make sure that when you're doing your turkey necks, you fill your pot up to over the meat amount, right at the threshold of the meat, because it's why it's boiling. It's going to be boiling for hours. It's going to cook that down a lot, as far as the water is concerned. So you want to make sure that you cover your meat with water before you cook it. Of course, add a tablespoon of salt to your turkey and chicken gizzard mix. So you're going to add the chicken gizzards and the turkey necks all in one pot. Cover it with water, add a teaspoon of salt in there, and let that boil. Now, it's going to boil for about 4 hours. The way you know that your turkey necks are done and ready to be shredded is you stick your fork in there or they just fall off the bone. That's what you want. You want your turkey necks to be able to be shredded with your fingers and it's just falling off the bones. So that's when you know that that's done. Now, you're also going to do in a separate pot, you're going to do your bell peppers, your green onion, your regular onion, and your celery stalk. So make sure you dice that up really, 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 really light. So when I say really light, oh my God. Okay, excuse the clapping in the background. That's my husband. He's watching a football game. Anyway, so you want to dice it up really, really well because you almost want it to be translucent in your dressing. Literally, it's for flavor. You want it to be really translucent. Please don't put big hunks of bell peppers, big hunks of onions, and all that stuff in your dressing. Dice it up really small, and you'll see in the video that I had diced them all separately, really, really small. You're again going to add all of those content into one pot, fill it with water, and I would say about 6 cups of water, because again, you're going to boil this for a very long time. And the way you know that this will be done is because when you take one of the vegetables out of the water and you can mush it with your fingers, that's the consistency you want. And I know it's going to be hot, but if you can mush the vegetables with your finger, and I would say that's going to take you about maybe a couple hours to boil because it's all going to be in one pan. And because of, the content is so much of it in one pot, I'm sorry, not pot, pan, one pot, that it's going to take a while to boil. So boil that for about 2 hours, and then again, check the consistency to make sure that you can squish the vegetables in your hand, and that's when you know that's done. So combine everything, and you'll see in the video of me combining everything. Now, this is by far the longest video you're probably gonna ever watch on my channel, but I've had so many requests for my mom's dressing recipe that I decided to do a video, and I wanted to come on here before I did the video to explain to you guys everything you're gonna have to do. And I know some of this stuff is probably barbaric where you're seeing me was mixing things with my hands, but you don't want to do no mixer. Please don't break out no mixer. Please do not try to whip this with a spoon. Literally, once you put all of your contents in your pan, get in there with your fingers, because the butter and everything, you want to make sure that that is well blended. And you will see me in there with my fingers to blending and blending and blending with my hands. So make sure you wash your hands really well. I shouldn't have to tell you that, but for the sake of this video, I am going to tell you that. For the sake of COVID, I am going to tell you that. Wash your hands really, really well. And I probably wash my hand 10 times. You're going to keep, because you're constantly mixing. Wash your hands. You got to grab another part of the recipe, throw it in the pan, mixing. So again, you'll see me doing that throughout the whole video, but make sure that you mix this stuff really, really well with your hands. make sure that you crumble your cornbread really fine. And you'll see me doing that in the video. It's very time consuming. I mean, making dressing is a very time consuming process. I would say from start to finish, it's going to take you a good, maybe 4 hours. And that's with cooking all the vegetables, cooking all the meat, getting all your contents together, blending it all up. I mean, adding your eggs and your butter and everything into it. Do not skimp on the butter because butter makes everything taste good. So do not skimp on the butter. You'll see me put a whole stick of butter in each pan. Do not skimp on that. The only other thing I can probably say before I go ahead with this video is with the sage. Now, that's one thing. There's two things, I'm sorry. Sage and poultry seasoning you cannot do without. You cannot do this recipe without sage. You cannot do this recipe without poultry seasoning. Now, you want to make sure that the sage you buy is really, really in the powder consistency, and it's in the poultry season is in the powder consistency. And I'm not going to give any videos, any companies a plug, but you'll see the brands that I'm using. Just try to make sure, you pick up one of these brands and make sure that you, with the sage, it's to taste. I would say don't do no more than 2 tablespoons of sage because sage is very powerful. Oh my God, it's a very powerful seasoning. So I do 1.5 tablespoons. Don't do no more than 2 tablespoons. Poultry seasoning, I do the same, about 1.5 tablespoons. Don't do any more than 2 tablespoons of the poultry seasoning, and bring it all together. Bake it at 350, and yeah, everybody gonna be asking you, how did you learn how to make this dressing? So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I think that's it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a message. I do respond to all of my messages, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope your families are blessed during this time. I know 2020 has been you know what for everyone. I personally want to thank God that myself and my family are safe. We're happy. We have not been affected by COVID. And if your family has, I pray that everyone is well. I hope you haven't lost any loved ones. And if you have, I hope God mends your heart. And I'll see you soon. Get ready for this dressing video. Bye. I'm back to do the close of my video. So I just wanted to come on here first of all and say thank you for everyone who have subscribed to my channel, everyone who suggested for me to do my dressing recipe. That was a challenge to do that recipe, and the reason being is because something that is so near and dear and so sentimental to you personally, you don't think that you do it justice. And so when I created this video, I wanted to make sure that I did my family, my mom, my grandmother, justice in creating this video with their recipe. So from what I understand, this recipe was my grandmother's recipe, which God bless her heart, we lost at the age of 90, which was about 4 years ago. And now it was my mom's recipe, and my mom, thank you Jesus, is still here, and she handed down the recipe to me about 20 years ago. So as I know for sure, it's a third generation recipe, and I am so grateful that my mom handed it down to me, because as a kid growing up, I couldn't wait for Thanksgiving and Christmas so I can have my mom's dressing. So my mom never made the dressing on any other occasions but Thanksgiving and Christmas. We didn't get it for Easter. We didn't get it for New Year's. It was just those two occasions once a year. And so I was so eternally grateful that my mom taught me how to make the recipe. And even though I said I did a couple tweaks with changing out the chicken hearts and changing the garlic powder, it's still just as great as ever. My family raves about it. So that's one thing I just wanted to come on here and to give you some insight on the background of that recipe. And I hope to God that you guys enjoy it and that you're able to add or tweak or insert, remove, whatever you like to do, and hand this recipe down to your family. And my next thing that I wanted to talk about is I really don't share too much about my family on here as far as being including pictures and everything else. But because it was Thanksgiving, I decided to do a few inserts of my family. So right before this video, you saw pictures of my family, my husband, our kids, my nieces and nephews, my mom, just my whole family. So it wasn't my whole family, but a lot of the members of my family I did post pictures of. That's one thing I am eternally grateful for. Thanksgiving, you're supposed to basically give thanks for Thanksgiving. And I wanted to come on here and just give thanks for my family, give thanks to my family. I have been blessed. And when I say blessed, I have been blessed. I have been blessed to have a great husband. I'm blessed to have wonderful kids. We have a blended family, and I love our kids. My mom and my sister, my nieces and my nephews, my brothers, everyone that has been a blessing to my life. I am thankful on this Thanksgiving Day that they're here, they're happy, they're blessed. We have not been affected by COVID. We are all happy and healthy. And I want to pray for anyone that has been affected by COVID. If you have been affected by COVID or you have lost a loved one, I pray that God mends your heart. I pray that your family is healed. That's one thing about me and my family. We are a praying family. We are a God-fearing family. So if you have been affected by COVID and you need to just drop a line and say, hey, pray for me and my family, just leave a message. And just, nothing personal or whatever, just leave a message and say, hey, pray for me and my family, and we will definitely pray for you guys. So again, I just wanted to come on here do my closing video. And even though I love, love, love Thanksgiving, I love, love, love Christmas, I wanted to come on here and say thank God it's over, because that cooking process is crazy. Just like I said, to make the dressing 4 hours. Of course, I'm doing any other things in the middle of that, but I'm telling you, the cooking process is the longest thing ever. And I was grateful that I had a little bit of assistance, not a lot, a little bit of assistance with cooking and cleaning up the house after everyone left. And yeah, so again, if you guys need prayer, if you guys want to just drop a line and say, hey, I've been affected, or my family been affected, or we've lost our jobs, we lost our home. I mean, everything that's been going crazy in 2020, and people that you've been affected by it, and you need for someone to just say, hey, God, please, lay your hands on them or whatever. Drop us a line, and we will definitely include you in our prayers. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the dressing. If you have any questions about the dressing, again, let me know. It's a work in progress. I can give you some tips and clues and all that stuff, insight or whatever. So that's my first long video on my dressing. And I think my next video is going to be on my homemade macaroni and cheese. Now, I'm just going to say, my macaroni and cheese is not I don't make the cheese sauce. I'm the old school, baking it with the eggs and everything else, but mine's is still creamy and cheesy and gooey, and yeah, that's a whole nother subject. So if you guys haven't subscribed, you better, because you're gonna miss out on that macaroni and cheese recipe. That's it for now. You guys have a great day, and it's Miss Dana signing off.